People often say to me, I bet your garden's perfect, and actually I have to admit it's not. As you can see, there's a few weeds everywhere. You know, it's not immaculate, but I kind of like that wild, natural look. And it's a bit of an experimental area for me. So over the years, we've kind of put things in, see how they grow, and then see where they fit into our garden on the roll borders. Now this one I love, it's a Pitusporum Tom Thumb, and in April, it's a great time to control evergreens and don't let them get too big. And even though this one looks beautiful and rounded, it's mainly because I do this about 3 or 4 times a year, give it a bit of a haircut. And if you do it this time of year, you can see that the new growth is just about to start. So it's got the whole season really to settle back in and reform its shape and stay nice and tight. You can do this with lots of evergreens. Because if you don't, even things that say they only grow a metre eventually will keep growing. So you've got to control them. Don't let them dominate you or your garden. So a light trim, and a good tip for evergreens is don't go too hard back into the old wood where there's no leaves. That could cause problems and they sometimes don't reshoot. So in this case, if you do it regularly and not too much at a time, a bit like a haircut. In a couple of weeks, the new growth will start through again, and it keeps the beautiful Pitusporum Tom Thumb a fantastic architectural ball. I love it, look at that. This is an area by the front of my house, and it's basically a patio area. And before Christmas, I thought, let me make this look nice for the family when people visit. So I basically just got a load of my favourite evergreens, left them in their pots, used the smaller ones at the front just to disguise the pots of the ones behind. And to be honest, it's looked fantastic for 3 months. I love it. It's not a permanent thing, but it's like sort of a bit of stage dressing or shop window dressing to make this bit look lovely as you walk in. Then I can use all these on various projects soon. And the Skimmias are just about finishing, but have been really stunning. In fact, the whole thing has looked amazing since I put them in. And it's just a little idea what you can do at home, where you can just use plants to dress up areas and kind of interchange them from winter to summer. I think it looks all right, don't you? Oh, that is beautiful. Skimmia is a common plant. Everybody's probably seen them at garden centres throughout the winter. And I always forget how beautifully scented they are and how good they are for bees this time of year in April. So all winter you've got the pink red buds, which look fantastic. You've got the evergreen leaves, so it's a great sturdy, great winter interest plant. April, early May, it flowers. How lovely is that? I've been using them around the garden just for winter decoration. And the thing you really need to do with these is when they finish flowering, they are a little bit boring through the summer, and you do have to deadhead them, and I'll just show you how to do that now. This is a slightly different one. This one's called Fragrant Cloud. That's gone a bit earlier than the Skimmia rubella. All you need to do is really just to take off the old flowers, tidies the plant up nicely, and it allows the new growth, which is already starting to peek through, allows the new growth to come through a little bit quicker, and it just tidies the whole plant up. And then it will do the same thing again next year. So if you've got a female Skimmia with berries, of course you don't take the flowers off. Only do it to the males to tidy them up if there's no berrying plants nearby. I know I always say it, but this is definitely one of my favourite, in fact it is my favourite winter interest plant. It's a Dogwood, Cornus. This one's midwinter fire. And right from sort of September onwards, it's looked unbelievable with the orange yellow stems. It really is a highlight of the border. It's a little bit late, but I would say if you've got a Cornus like this, or the green stemmed one, or the red one, even if they're just coming into leaf, it's still okay to prune, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You can do it really from March onwards, but I always leave it a little bit late. And if you leave it, you lose the colourful stems, because as they grow taller, it gets less intense. The idea is you cut them right back, and by next year it's back up here again with the gorgeous stems. And now is the time to do it. Looks a bit brutal. Here goes. I know what you're thinking. What on earth is Antony doing? Trust me, it's the best thing. And you'll see what I mean as we follow it through the summer. Now in the winter and early spring, Hellebores is a fantastic plant. Flowers for weeks and weeks and weeks, evergreen, hardy as anything, and just gives you really bright colour in a kind of shady, dark area. April, early May, they start looking a bit untidy, and if you leave them, this one here, all the energy is going to the seed, as you can see. If you want to produce more, great, leave the seeds on there, but it does take energy from the plant and it sort of slows down the new growth. So in my case, because I've got hundreds of these things at the moment, I don't need any more, so I'm just going to snip back all the old flowers down to the bottom. It's a lovely therapeutic thing to do, don't know why, it just is. And you basically take off all the old flowers, and in this case I'm going to take off the old leaves from last year. They're looking a bit battered and bruised from the winter. New ones will soon come, so you've got to be a bit brave. So you'll end up with something that looks pretty much dead and gone, but I know that that is going to burst back into growth pretty soon. It's all full of lovely roots. I'm going to plant that in the garden. This is another one here, which, as you can see, the new growth is coming through. So we'll again leave the new growth, cut off the old. As I say, you can tell because it just looks a bit beaten up. Take off the ones. I'm going to leave a few on there which have still got a bit of colour, and I'll probably cut those off in a week or so. So that one will look a bit like this in about 2 weeks' time. I love them.